This week, 94 years ago, in May of 1931, 2,000 safety patrol boys marched along Lindell Boulevard with messages that we keep hearing today about St. Louis drivers. Obey traffic laws, jail the reckless, it's your child, make them stop. Traffic fatalities were a serious and growing problem. In fact, the very existence of the safety patrol, boys helping fellow students cross streets on the way to and from school, was started by the Automobile Club, a story that was told a few years back by Anne-Marie Berger.
This after-school responsibility began in Chicago in 1920, and at the time it was sponsored by the Chicago Motor Club. In 1922, the AAA of Missouri launched their first program in North St. Louis at a school on the corner of Goodfellow and Dozer.
The main motivator back then was the rash of traffic crashes associated with youngsters going to and from school. That was sort of the burgeoning period where motor vehicles were becoming very popular and people didn't know how to interact with them. So the School Safety Patrol was established back then.
And back then, schools were located in the heart of a neighborhood, and nearly all children walked to school. What started out as a safety program quickly developed into a leadership program, and kids found it an honor to wear the badge.
Well, in many cases, this is their first introduction to having any kind of responsibility at all, and it's certainly their introduction to public service, and an awful lot of youngsters take this very, very seriously. And I think as you'll talk to some of the retired safety patrol people, I think that they'll tell you just how important this was in their development as a youngster.
This was serious business. After the Safety March 94 years ago, the patrol boys crowded into the rotunda of City Hall, where the acting mayor praised them for saving lives and being part of a program that was building future citizens of high caliber. Boys like Vernon Brewer, chosen that day to represent the typical safety patrol boy. Girls would later be added to the program. And it was effective in reducing accidents involving kids on their way to and from school. And those traffic safety messages, they still ring true today, just as they did when the Safety Patrol marched in the streets of St. Louis in May of 1931. This week in St. Louis history. For Living St. Louis, I'm Jim Kircher.